Welcome to our newest episode about hell. Subscribe our channel and enjoy. Hell is a concept that has been present in many religions and belief systems throughout history. It is typically depicted as a place of punishment for those who have committed sins or acted immorally during their lifetime. The nature and characteristics of hell vary widely depending on the religion or culture, but there are some common themes that are often associated with this concept. In Christianity, hell is often portrayed as a place of eternal punishment where sinners are sent to be separated from God. This punishment is seen as the consequence of the sinner's rejection of God's love and salvation during their lifetime. In some Christian traditions, hell is depicted as a place of fire and torment, where souls are subjected to endless suffering and agony. Other traditions describe hell as a place of darkness and despair, where sinners are left to suffer in isolation and loneliness. In Islam, hell is known as Jahannam and is described as a place of punishment for those who have committed sins or rejected Allah's guidance during their lifetime. Jahannam is described as a place of intense heat and flames, where sinners are subjected to endless torment and suffering. The severity of the punishment in Jahannam is believed to be proportional to the severity of the sin committed. In Hinduism, the concept of hell is less defined, and there is no one specific place of punishment for sinners. Instead, the consequences of one's actions are believed to be reflected in their future incarnations. If a person lives a virtuous life, they may be reincarnated into a higher caste or as a more powerful being in the next life. On the other hand, if a person commits sin or immoral acts, they may be reincarnated into a lower caste or as an animal. In Buddhism, the concept of hell is known as Naraka and is similar to the Hindu concept of reincarnation. Naraka is believed to be a temporary place of punishment for those who have committed sins or acted immorally. The severity and duration of the punishment in Naraka are believed to be proportional to the severity of the sin committed. In popular culture, hell is often depicted as a place of fire and torment, populated by demons and other supernatural beings. However, it is important to remember that these depictions are often influenced by cultural and religious beliefs, and may not accurately reflect the true nature of this concept as understood by various religions and belief systems. In some religions, such as Christianity and Islam, hell is often depicted as a place of eternal punishment. This means that once a person is sent to hell, they will remain there for all eternity. This is a stark contrast to other belief systems, such as Buddhism and Hinduism, where the concept of hell is temporary and individuals may eventually be able to escape it. The idea of hell has been used throughout history as a means of controlling behavior and enforcing moral codes. By threatening individuals with the possibility of eternal punishment, religious leaders and authorities have been able to influence behavior and promote adherence to religious teachings. In some religions, there are different levels or compartments within hell, each reserved for sinners who have committed specific types of sins. For example, in Christianity, there is often a distinction made between the punishment for venial sins, less serious sins, and mortal sins, more serious sins that can lead to eternal damnation. The concept of hell is often depicted as a physical place, but in some belief systems, it is seen as a state of being or consciousness. This means that individuals may experience hell even if they are not in a physical location that is commonly associated with it. The concept of hell has been the subject of numerous literary and artistic works throughout history. Dante's Inferno, for example, is a classic work of literature that portrays hell as a series of 9 circles, each reserved for sinners who have committed different types of sins. Similarly, Hieronymus Bosch's painting The Garden of Earthly Delights depicts hell as a chaotic and nightmarish realm populated by bizarre and grotesque creatures. In recent years, some religious leaders and scholars have questioned the traditional depiction of hell as a place of eternal punishment. Some have argued that the concept of hell is more metaphorical than literal, and that it should be understood as a way of expressing the consequences of sin and immoral behavior. Others have suggested that the concept of hell may be more flexible than previously thought, and that there may be room for redemption and salvation even for those who have sinned. The idea of hell has been used as a form of punishment and torture throughout history. For example, during the Spanish Inquisition in the 15th and 16th centuries, people accused of heresy or witchcraft were often threatened with the possibility of eternal damnation in hell in order to extract confessions and information. The concept of hell has also been used as a tool of political oppression. For example, during the Cold War, the United States government often depicted the Soviet Union as an atheistic regime that was leading its citizens to a godless hell. This rhetoric was used to justify anti-communist policies and military interventions. Some theologians and religious scholars have suggested that the concept of hell may be incompatible with the idea of a loving and merciful God. They argue that it is difficult to reconcile the idea of an all-loving deity with the concept of eternal punishment for sinners. There are some religious sects that reject the concept of hell altogether. For example, some Unitarian Universalist congregations do not believe in hell and instead focus on the idea of universal salvation, in which all souls are eventually reconciled with God. The concept of hell has been used in popular culture as a way of exploring and commenting on societal fears and anxieties. For example, the horror film genre often depicts hell as a place of torment and terror, playing on the human fear of death and punishment. Similarly, dystopian novels and films often use the idea of a hellish future world as a way of warning against the dangers of totalitarianism and societal collapse. Some ancient cultures, such as the Greeks and Romans, had their own versions of hell. In Greek mythology, the underworld was ruled by Hades and was a place where the dead would go to be judged and assigned to their final resting place. Similarly, in Roman mythology, the underworld was ruled by Pluto and was divided into different regions for different types of souls. The concept of hell has been the subject of philosophical debates throughout history. Some philosophers have argued that the idea of hell is incompatible with the concept of free will, as eternal punishment would seem to negate the possibility of choice and redemption. Others have suggested that hell may be a necessary component of a just and moral universe, as it serves as a deterrent to immoral behavior. The depiction of hell has varied across different cultures and time periods. In some cultures, hell is portrayed as a physical place with fire, brimstone, and demons. In others, it is depicted as a cold and desolate wasteland. Some cultures even believe in multiple hells, each with its own unique characteristics and punishments. The idea of hell has also been used as a way of promoting empathy and compassion. Some religious leaders have used the concept of hell as a way of inspiring people to be more empathetic and caring towards others, in order to help prevent others from suffering the eternal damnation of hell. The depiction of hell has had a significant influence on popular culture, with many books, movies, and TV shows featuring depictions of hell and its various inhabitants. Some of the most famous depictions of hell include the work of Dante Alighieri, John Milton, and Hieronymus Bosch. Thank you for watching, subscribe our channel and see you in next episodes.